unqualified morons playing tabletop. This is the Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm RP.
And this is a podcast where a veteran like me introduces the world of gaming to a noob.
Like me.
Hello. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Good. Just another episode.
Episode 22.
In person.
Yeah. 22 episodes. Crazy.
Yeah, it is. We're coming up.
I'm curious if that number includes bonus. I don't think it does.
No, I don't think we count the bonus episodes.
Yeah.
Because they're bonus. Yeah.
They're fun. Free for you.
What is it? April is our 1 year? Yeah, because it's near my birthday. We went out to Evil
there.
Genius for my birthday. And that was kind of when we recorded. That's exciting, though. It's crazy.
Yeah,
to
for
think
sure.
about. Just a fun project that's kind of evolved.
How far we've come.
Into this. And we have our 3 listeners. And
We thank you. We thank your earbuds.
yes, thank you so much to our 3 listeners. So much. My mom, my dad, and my brother who listen. Thank you so much. So what's new, bud? Anything?
No, nothing. We recently saw Jackass Forever.
Okay.
Really enjoyed that. So funny. Really happy. That was a fun one to see in the theater. You know, that's a very much a theater experience movie. You go with your buddies. It was a previously recorded outing. You were unfortunately busy, but we went and saw that. We laughed our butts off.
Yeah, is that the first one you saw in theaters?
No, I saw 2 and 3 in theaters.
Okay, all right.
I remember seeing this number 2. I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade.
You had to be, yeah, you were young.
And we went to the theater, and our friend's parents bought us tickets. Or they were like, well, the kids can't go in without you. So then this random guy in front of me was like, yeah, I'll watch them. And it was like him and his buddy, or maybe his girlfriend. And we went and we saw it. And then the third one, I was old enough at that point, I think, which it was 2012, I think it came out.
It's been a while.
Either way, we had somebody, if I wasn't old enough, we had somebody buy tickets. I must have been 17. No, I don't remember.
Or at least old enough that they weren't stressed out that you were buying a ticket.
Yes, I think
because by then you could go to the kiosk and just buy your own.
I think I saw it twice in theaters. I went with Bob. I saw it.
Okay, yeah.
Co-host Bob. Me and him saw it, and then I saw it with some friends. So yeah, I've been watching Jackass forever.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things I was exposed to. Like one of the weird things that like my parents were like kind of strict about some things. Like I wasn't allowed to play GTA, but I was allowed to watch Jackass. Like it was these weird things. But
that's how kind of it's weird how those kind of things are like when you're a parent, I guess, because like we kind of grew up the same. Or there was a lot of things we weren't allowed to like watch, but I could read anything.
Yeah.
Like they never like were like, what are you reading? Because I remember reading like a lot of Stephen King, and there was more like sex and violence in these books that I was reading than like movies. But they're like, good for you, Bryan, you're reading. Meanwhile, I'm like in my room, like, oh yeah, I'm like, whoa,
what's going on here?
Yeah, but like Jackass again was something that even my dad, who's like has no funny bone in his body at all, would watch and just be like laughing at it. Like it's just it's one of those memories that I have as a kid. I've seen all 3 in theaters. I mean, I was probably.
So this will be the first one you won't see in theaters.
As of now. It just came out this weekend, so we'll see.
No.
Or what, last weekend? When did that come out? I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the first one. I had to be like 13, 14. And I had to go with my brother. It was the same thing where the guy was like, whoa, like, where are you going? And my brother's like, he's with me. And it's like my brother was like 38. My brother's like 16. The guy's like, all right, guy, no problem. I was like, and I remember going to school, like, my teacher being like, Mr. Mooney being like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? I was like, oh, I saw Jackass. And he was like, oh, okay.
I did that when I was younger. Like first grade, I saw the Matrix when I was in first grade. Obviously, that's not a bad movie. But it was rated R, and I remember like being like, oh, I just saw this rated R movie. You're a kid, you know what I mean? You're excited because like you see something you're not supposed to see. And then that's what, like, when I was younger, we talked about this a little bit on previously recorded. We have an episode coming out, which at this point I think it'll already be out, where we're talking about the new movie and our memories with the movies and stuff. But like we got really into it. We even talked about like doing our own, which is a horrible idea.
Yeah,
obviously. We never did anything. But I was in 5th grade, and I have a bleeding disorder, so I shouldn't even be. I'm not even like I'm
shouldn't be using knives.
I'm technically like I'm not allowed to play tackle football, so that's the kind of thing. But yeah, no, I have such fond memories of those movies and seeing them with friends. And
it's just stupid
every time. So they were a big part of our weekend. When we went down
our Ocean City
weekend,
we watched the first two.
We watched the first two, and we were just dying. All of us were just cracking up because they're so stupid, but they're so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that I did recently that I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, just going to theater's fun.
I love going to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Put your kid in the cage, leave him some chips and water, and you and Meg go.
Yeah, it's something I lost when I had a kid.
That's what you do with a baby, right? You put them in a cage.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fine.
Raising kids is easy. You just give them some pizza, some candy, turn on whatever you want on the TV.
Bubble gum.
They're adults, for God's sake. They're fine. They're fine. No problem at all. Yeah, that's fun. I do. When we saw Spider-Man together, that was the first time I've been to a theater since that awful Star Wars, the last one.
Yeah.
So it was
but you didn't have the best.
I didn't get my pretzel bites. That was.
Well, you also didn't have the best experience seeing
Spider-Man. Well, people were clapping.
Yeah, but you and Bob, I thought we were gonna fight somebody.
I just can't stand clapping.
Neither can I, but I let it.
Not
go.
when it's. We talked about in the previous record episode when people are clapping at stuff they show in the trailer. It's what are you clapping about?
Yeah,
they showed this. Why? Why are you so excited? But it's whatever. But it was nice to be at a theater again. I understand. At first, I know we are a board game podcast, by the way. I'm sorry, we go off on tangents. But when the pandemic started, and they were kind of oh, we're gonna start streaming. I was like, oh yeah, I could watch stuff on TV again. But going to theater is just a whole different experience.
I hate the streaming.
I don't hate it. I love it. For me having a kid, we have two very different experiences.
Yeah, well,
having a kid, love it. I don't have to run out.
No, that makes total sense. I was talking to somebody that I met him through work, whatever. He doesn't work with us anymore, but we still stay in touch. And it's an ongoing debate. He wants everything to be at home because he doesn't like people whispering behind him in a movie. Or
that's a whole different
which is whatever.
Condition,
it's fine, but I'm you realize that streaming at home is going to be the end of big budget movies. There's no way that you can make that work. You're going to make a $200 million movie. You're not going to... look at Black Widow, for example. That movie was the most pirated movie all year. And they still made a decent amount of money, but you're not going to make back... that is why... I'm saying these big budget movies, they can be made to work, but it's going to change
and it won't be the same. Seeing... a movie like Spider-Man or even Jackass in a theater is a different experience.
Jackass can work. That's a $10 million movie.
Yeah, but I just mean being in a theater and everyone's laughing. It is such a different experience than
absolutely.
Being at home.
I said that about Suicide Squad. You watch it, you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was fine. Bob, same thing. But me, Shane, producer Audra, and my dad, we went and saw it in theaters, and a bunch of people were laughing. It made the experience of the movie so much more better. And we watched it again recently, and I still really enjoy it because I'm loving Peacemaker on HBO Max. But yeah, I love movie theaters. But from your standpoint, I get it. Just because convenience, you got a lot going on. You got a kid, you got to get a babysitter if you want to go, but yada, yada, yada. But from just an overall movie, even something as small as Licorice Pizza. I went and saw that. It's a very small indie film. Not very small. It's a lot of people are very aware.
It's not a No Way Home.
Yeah, exactly. It's not but I enjoyed seeing that in a movie. And a lot of it, too. Last night we were watching Nightmare Alley on HBO. I'm sorry for these tangents.
It's fine.
Anybody listen to a podcast knows that, yes, we're going to eventually get to it.
We'll get there.
But we go on, we do and all other podcasts do, too. We watched Nightmare Alley last night, and I was into it, but I was still checking my phone, texting you guys.
Yep. Yeah.
When I'm at the theater, I don't do that. It gets I have ADHD.
You do the bathroom trick, that's all.
Yeah.
During trailers, you run to the bathroom 8 times,
I run to the bathroom 8. That's a very... Head over to previously recorded to hear about that.
It's a whole technique he has. It's impressive.
Has nothing to do with texting. It's just going to the bathroom because you can't pause. But yeah, man, it's just it's just such a different experience.
Yeah, it's an experience. That's it. It's an experience.
And it's something I'm incredibly passionate about. So I really enjoy it. It's playing a game solo is fine, but playing it with somebody else is even
Welcome
better.
To the Gateway Gamers. I am Bryan Marvel, your host, and this is RP as always. We are covering board games.
Yes.
I am introducing the world of board gaming to my co-host RP here.
That is I, and we are specifically doing another
two-player game. Being romantic all year.
Yeah, so this one is another one that is, we just planned it. It's a game that I own because I got it from Bryan. He gave it to me. This opens itself to a bunch of other tangents as well, but
we'll keep it in control.
Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle, Defense Against the Dark Arts.
This is a deck builder game. I gave it to you because I have the mainline Hogwarts Battle.
Yeah, you got the big one.
Game. And this was... Well, I kind of thought this was expansion, but it's not. This is a standalone 2-player game that kind of uses the same mechanics. I was given it at Christmas time, and I said, well, I enjoy the big game. This isn't for me. So I kind of gifted onto you just because I know you love Harry Potter, and I just know it wouldn't be played at my house, so I gave it to you. How many times have you played since I gave it to you?
Once.
There you go. So at least it got played, because it would never get played at my house. Because if I'm in an itch for this type of game, I pull it out.
Yeah, this isn't... I can't play this with producer Audra.
Too much reading.
I don't even think it's that. I just don't think this is her thing.
Yeah, too much reading.
Yeah. As she said earlier.
All right. Back of the box.
Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle Defense Against the Dark Arts is a competitive deck-building game for 2 players inspired by Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. In this fast-paced game, players take turns playing cards, taking actions, and acquiring new cards to build a more powerful deck as their defensive skills improve. Stun your opponent 3 times to win. But this is it's not an expansion, but it's a 2-player version of the deck builder game that you have that we will eventually cover on here.
Yeah.
Yes, aside from Marvel and Disney, I'm obsessed with Harry Potter. I love it. And so is your wife, and you enjoy it.
I enjoy Harry Potter. Yeah, I think it's...
My wife loves it, too.
Yeah, my wife, really loves it. I enjoy it. I read the books. I understand it's controversial.
You know what?
Do you want to go into it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Harry Potter's not controversial.
Okay.
The creator is.
Yeah.
And I've said on previously recorded, as well as over on the Half Drunk podcast, Harry Potter and the Half Drunk podcast, shout out to them. They're a great Harry Potter podcast. That I associate the creator from the art. You know,
let's say, can separate. Yeah, absolutely.
If Stan Lee was a huge scumbag, I would do the same thing. It's not... She's... While she may say these things, she's not building it into the world. The world is incredibly loving, and this has opened itself to a lot of other interpretations of the world. People are taking things that are probably not necessarily true, but it's not that. The Harry Potter is all about acceptance and love and all that fun stuff. So I disassociate J.K. completely from Harry Potter. I've never been like, oh, Harry Potter. Oh, I love J.K. Rowling. No, I love her. What she created.
Yeah, no one... I don't think anybody... I've never heard anybody who's like, man, I love Harry Potter and that J.K. Rowling. I know you... No one's ever like, oh, I love every J.K. Rowling thing she's ever done.
I have not read... She just put out a new book, The Ichabod. I have no interest in reading that. It's not Harry Potter.
And she had one called No Vacancy. She's had her own spin-off books.
Her,
no, it came out those now it's just printed under J.K. Rowling.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But, again, my opinion is... It is what it is. People, everyone has their dark side and good side, and there's things that people do that are good. There's things that people do bad. People say things. It is what it is. And I think Harry Potter, the books and the movies as a whole, have done more good than her one bad. Her opinion will die before the franchise of Harry Potter and what he represents will. And that's all that I have to say about that. It's a razor thin line because it means so much more to more people. I'm not the people that she's against, so I don't understand it, and I don't respect her and her decision. I don't agree with her, but she's allowed to say it, and that's I don't know. It's tough.
No, that's the whole thing. You don't have to agree. Yeah. You don't have to.
I don't follow her.
I wish she would just shut the hell up.
Yep.
But. That's her right as a person who has thumbs to tweet out whatever. So I 100% agree. The world of what Harry Potter has done for people is far outweighs the damage that she's done with her words. And I'm sorry if that's upsetting to hear or whatever, but it's true. It's brought so many people together, make people feel not alone. It's helped me through dark periods in my life. It's just... It brings so much joy. And so that's why I just disassociate that vileness and love what she created. Because I'm not like, oh yeah, Harry Potter was... I mean, sure, Harry Potter was created by her, but I'm not there's things that I think about with the movie where they changed things in the movie a little bit, and I don't really care for the Fantastic Beasts franchise. I think she actually is ruining Harry Potter with what she's doing to her own canon.
Even without her tweets.
Yeah, exactly, without her tweets. But I've loved Harry Potter for 20 years, and just because the creator has said something really stupid, it's not gonna change my mind about the game or about the world, anything associated. I'm so pumped for the Hogwarts game that's coming out for PlayStation and Xbox. Definitely agree with you.
Yeah, it was a fine line to kind of walk. I wasn't sure if we're going to go there, but I mean, it is what it is. It's something we have to talk about.
We covered Death Eaters Rising a bit. We didn't really go into Harry Potter, and I think it's just something that is discussed ad nauseum with people. But I think we're talking about the topic, so we might as well talk about the controversialness of it.
I'll see that the OP will share, like they have the Harry Potter franchise, and they do a lot with it, and they get attacked constantly. So kind of.
Dude, money talks.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's tough to kind of.
Well, they're not like, hey, we're making this game, we're collaborating. Like, everybody's saying we're not collaborating with JK, we're just using her IP. And sure, people are attacking them, but money talks. OP's
not going to stop. We have no money.
Exactly.
We just talk. But I'm just saying, like, it just stinks that something so beloved and something that is so positive is just being marred.
I know people are like, I'm not going to introduce my kids to Harry Potter. Like, I can't wait to introduce my kids to Harry Potter. Like, I love it. I do. It brings people together. It's one of the few things, like, in my relationship, Audra's family doesn't really like, her brother and her brother-in-law like the Marvel stuff, but her parents don't. But they love Harry Potter, so it's something that I'm able to connect with them.
Hopefully by the time your kid and my kid, hopefully that stuff will just be like
people have forgotten.
Yeah.
So
not forgotten. Never forget what idiocy.
Yeah, but just
what people say, but move on. Yeah.
Or they just do, or she just does what George Lucas did and just sells Harry Potter, and then people can just move on.
That's the goal.
Anyway, about the tangents
once again,
today.
hi, welcome to Game of the Gamers podcast. I'm Bryan, your host. This is RP, my co-host.
Did we just label this as a bonus episode at this point?
No, we need to move on to our next top 10.
You got some information to provide.
Yes. So, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle, Defense Against the Dark Arts, the mouthful game that we are talking about today, came out in 2019, plays for 30 to 60 minutes, is a 2-player exclusive game, fitting with our February month. It's designed by Kami Mendel and Andrew Wolf, ages 11 plus, published by the OP, used to be USAopoly. Known as a take that and card drafting game. It's also like a deck builder. We kind of covered those type of games before, so we'll have a basic deck of hands, and the hands that we have will buy new cards. So I think I remember we buy spells and items from the Harry Potter universe, and it's a one-on-one battle, like in the Chamber of Secrets, correct?
Sure.
Chamber of Secrets movie where they did Duel Club.
Yeah, that's a very fun scene from that movie. I always liked that.
It was the second one. Oh, that's right. It was Malfoy.
Him and Malfoy dueling.
Scared Potter. You wish.
And then it was Snape and
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Gilderoy was like the
Kenneth
mentors,
Branagh,
kind of.
Director of Thor.
Yeah, Thor 2, right?
No, Thor.
He did Thor 1?
Yeah.
I thought he did Thor 2 for some reason.
No. He was like deuces.
Oh, yeah, I knew better.
Yeah.
So I think it's just an interesting idea of.
It's the same layout too as the dueling board. Like, it has the circles. If you watch the movie, you'll see the layout of the.
Oh, they're standing like a table, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. So,
cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little. It was a good idea. Like, they took the idea of the Harry Potter board game, like the card game. That's fantastic. We'll cover it eventually, like you said. That needs to be like.
It's a blockbuster franchise game, so it needs to be covered in.
Yeah, in like real in depth, and then it's like it covers all 7 years, so we need like a full.
Like maybe a week.
Maybe a whole week, yes. A week of Harry Potter. But they took that idea and scaled it down to like 2 players, and it's a really good idea. And I think I played it once since I got it. You said you played it once, so it'd be nice to kind of revisit if you're ready to go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Accio.
No, what should we do?
I don't know the spells.
Grab your flu powder, and
Okay.
Let's go. Speak loudly and clear and say, game table. Game table.
Game table.
All right, or Accio table, whatever works. We're back. So what did you think revisiting it?
It was fine. It was exactly what I remember. And it's exactly why I gave it to you. I enjoy this game, but because I have the main Hogwarts Battle game,
there's no reason
for me to have 2 copies. It's a fantastic formula, a fantastic game, but it's just the same. Like because Megan enjoys the main Hogwarts Battle. Yeah. If I have that itch that I need to scratch, I'll pull that out.
Yeah, I understand that. You're saying it's like kind of the exact same?
It's basically the same game.
There's no reason to have 2 versions of that.
No.
I haven't played that one yet with you, and I know we're saving that for the summer, but I like this game. It's fun. It gives me that IP that I need, the theme that I need, and it's fun, man. It wasn't until I played this game that I was like, oh, I get deck building now.
I love deck building. Deck building's it's one of my favorite mechanics in gaming, probably. I would definitely say it's probably my favorite type of game, and it's a relatively new game to the format.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a game called Dominion that came out not too long ago that was kind of the first big deck builder that kind of launched this deck builder mechanic. And it's such an easy mechanic where you have a base hand of 10 cards and you use those cards to buy more cards and your hand grows. It just seems like something so simple that it took a long time for someone to kind of figure it out.
For that to catch on and stuff. Yeah, I agree. I love it. I think it's cool. And I enjoy it's like when we played Thanos Rising. You want to build your team. You want to build your deck and beat you. But once again, you beat me in a game. This tends to happen a lot. I'm kind of getting sick of it.
Yeah, I don't know how. It's not like not like I am some master of games. It's just
you got one of the cards, which we'll get into how to play the game. But you got one of the cards and you had a bunch of allies and it just destroyed me.
Yeah.
So you want to get into some of the gameplay then?
Yeah. So the basic gameplay is the point of the game is, as we said in the second movie, it's 2 wizards that are learning to wizard.
Yeah, to duel.
To duel.
To fight and defend.
Defend themselves mainly. So that's the point of the game is you are 2 young wizards aspiring to become the greatest wizard. And so you're learning different spells. So your hand set of 10 cards is 7 Aloha Moras, which in the book are...
Aloha Mora unlocks a door.
So it's 7 Aloha Moras. You get an ally card of your choice, either an owl, a frog, or a cat. And then...
And the ally cards all do. I had the toad who heals you. I had Trevor, which I was calling it. And you had Hedwig,
I had
who
an owl.
allows you to store
basically a bank. I could put a coin on there, save it, and then take as many coins that I stored to my collection that I needed. And then you also have a wand, which is an attack. And then you have a cauldron, which is a heal or a coin.
Yes.
So that's your basic 10 cards. That's what each player starts with. So RP started with that same hand. I started with that same hand. Where you go from there is the choice of the player, which is what's interesting because we start with the same, but we could go wildly different. So I started as the Slytherin house because that's my house is Slytherin. I'm always a bad guy.
Checks out. And I started out with Gryffindor because I am a Gryffindor.
Yeah, because you have, what's Gryffindor? Courage?
Courageous, brave, strong, maybe, too.
And I'm a scumbag.
You're a snake.
Snake. Every person, every time you start, has a basic hand set. And then the Aloha Moras, you gain a coin. The cauldron, as I said, either gives you a heart or a coin. The wand gives you a lightning bolt or power. And then ally just has different power sets. So the point of the game is if I get a lightning, I hit RP. There's 7 spaces to knock him back until he's stunned. You want to stun the other player 3 times to win the game. The hearts heal you so you can move closer because you both start at the middle of the table and each lightning bolt is a space backwards.
Yep.
The coins buy new cards. So there's giant deck of cards which has spells, allies, items, all from the Harry Potter universe. and they all do different things. They all have different costs, and they're all super interesting. Like, there's no deck in that there's no card in that deck that I'm like, I don't want that. Every card that kind of pops out, I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
It's something cool that it does. It's a cool mechanic. There's 4 available to you at each turn. You use the coins to buy. I think Hagrid was an ally. He's worth 5.
Yep.
So you have to play in your hand enough cards to give you 5 coins. In the beginning of the game,
That's
you're
tough.
Yeah, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, you say to start small.
Mm-hmm. So you buy the cards that are worth less, and they eventually add up. You buy the cards, they go in your discard pile. You draw another 5 cards. So as a deck builder you build your deck. Eventually, you're going to shuffle all the cards that you bought together, all your starter cards together, and then it's going to keep progressing until I hit RP enough, or he hits me enough to be stunned, and then it just kind of restarts. And it's kind of interesting because there's other mechanics going on.
I enjoyed the one thing about adding to the deck was when I would buy a card, for example, there would be a little bit underneath it. It's like, so I get 1 coin, but also there was, I think it was one of the spells. Look at the next card, if keep it or discard it, up to you, because you want to discard if you maybe have the bad card of a hex, and you could discard that if not. But then that would allow me to play that card, and I would gain 1, and it was the one time it was a feather, and that allowed me to gain 1 coin and also draw another card. So it allows you to, you're like, oh, I have 5 cards. But as that goes with the deck building, you can add these other things that allow your turn to really go longer and lead you to victory.
Yeah, and then the house that you choose kind of matters as well, where if I'm a Slytherin, there's certain allies they have the Slytherin house flag, and they have special powers if they're Slytherin. If I'm a Slytherin as well, and then there's other certain spell cards that will have the normal text of like gain a coin, gain a lightning. At the bottom, they'll have the house flag and then an additional thing. So I think the one power was like Tarantara Lagrala. And it was like I could do 1 lightning bolt, I could draw a card, and then if I had a Slytherin ally, I also get an additional lightning. So if I didn't have an ally that was Slytherin, or if I wasn't Slytherin myself, I couldn't access that power. So I think that's something different from this game to the other game. Yeah, you don't have like a house power or anything. So I think that's a neat mechanic because it makes you pick like cards that maybe you wouldn't navigate with. Because I'm sure there's people that play that are just like, I'm Harry Potter, so I want to have Hermione and Ron.
Yeah.
I'm not picking Draco to be my friend. Where this game, it gives you the ability to be unique and build the deck how you want it. So I was very ally heavy. You were very spell heavy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that was actually my downfall because you had the quick quotes quill that would give you a damage card, a damage token for every ally that you had. So you had a bunch of allies, and that was my downfall because I was sitting pretty.
You were doing great.
I was doing really good, and then obviously that was my downfall because of your damn allies.
Yep.
You beat me, Griffin.
Yeah, I worked out that I had my owl banking me money. I had, what was his name? Who was the Hufflepuff? Some Hufflepuff.
Oh, Ernie McMillan.
Ernie McMillan. And then I had
I think that's who it was.
Yeah, it was Ernie McMillan, and then I had did I have another Slytherin that was kind of helping me out?
Yeah, you had
Crab or Goyle,
I think you had Goyle.
Yeah, so, yeah, the allies were definitely helping me.
As big of as a Harry Potter fan is, I don't know the difference between Crab and Goyle.
Yeah, they're so the same.
Whatever characters.
Yeah, so I had, which is another cool thing, the allies just kind of stay out, like when you play them, and they're just kind of there. And then I had a card that was making you discard your allies, because you had a toad that was helping you heal, and I just kept throwing them back in your deck.
Yeah.
So it was, I just really enjoy this game, and I really, if I didn't have the big game, I would play this game more. But my wife and I actually play the base game a lot. We've beaten the base game, and
it's because your wife's a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yes, and I vividly remember in our old apartment, like playing the 7th game, and it was like an hour and a half, And I remember finally beating He Who Must Not Be Named, and us cheering. Like, it was like an event, and it's those
and
those
that
are
was the night Oliver was conceived.
Yes, and that was the night my son was conceived. But no, like those are like how we talked about before, like those board game like moments that we remember.
Yeah,
That's something that I always remember
when we beat
with
Thanos
my wife
for
and
the
I.
first
Yep.
time. Yep.
Yeah, so that game is always, and that game has come out a lot since, but so that I enjoy these mechanics. I enjoy the deck building. I love the world and the theme. This game is really good. Like, it's just, I can't say enough good things.
Yeah, and then the other cool part too is like all the pieces are cool. The coins are Ministry of Magic coins. The lightning bolts are just lightning bolts and hearts. But then the
metal skulls.
The trackers, they're little metal skulls of Death Eater masks that keep track of when you lose and when you get to 3. Game's over.
The OP does a lot with their theme. Like, they have the...
their other big Harry Potter game they've come out is Talisman.
So I don't know much about Talisman.
Do you think that would be a game that we would play on here, or that I would play?
No, I think... So I've heard a lot of, like, polarizing things about Talisman, the base game,
because they have a Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, but I've heard that all these IP ones kind of fix what the base game. So I always heard about Talisman that was a super long game, and it was a lot of like back and forth, like take that, like very long and arduous games. I heard all the IP fix that because there's a Batman Talisman, a Kingdom Hearts, there's a Harry Potter.
I want to get to Harry Potter,
and I feel like there's another one, but I heard that they streamlined those problems and kind of fixed them.
That's an OP game.
Yep.
Well. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that, and maybe I'll watch a playthrough, and maybe I'll buy that.
Yeah, it might be something we could try.
Because
it
looks very detailed.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
we're huge Kingdom Hearts nerds, so we immediately when that one came out, we were both like, "Ooh, what's this?" And like I said, I kind of looked into Talisman base game and read, but I've heard it got fixed. But yeah, the OP's doing a lot. They have, I mean, obviously Voldemort Rising, which we kind of covered in our Thanos Rising episode. Death Eater's Rising. They have some game called Strike, which is like a dice game. Like, they are using the brand as much as they can, and
because that's what people want.
And what I could tell, it's doing a good job. I mean, it's getting people
playing games
who might not play games to be like, "Oh, it's a Harry Potter game. Like, let me pick it up." And they're not like chintzy garbage games, which we kind of talked about. Like, they're actual decent games.
This game didn't have this game could have been chintzy. It's a little small game. It's not, and I highly recommend this game. I think it's a lot of fun, and I love. If you love Harry Potter, it's right up your alley.
Yeah,
they have a ton of Harry Potter games.
Yeah, especially like a 2-player game. If you're on the fence between this and the base Hogwarts Battle game, if you are never going to play with more than 2 players. Like, if you're sexy couple, this is perfect. Like, this is a perfect 2-player game.
Or you have a best friend.
Or you have a best friend that
you love to play games with.
Yeah.
But also, I am so interested in getting the big game.
Yeah. It's something.
I love the look of it too, because I have almost bought it. Because you like scared me. You're saying it was like going out of print.
Yeah. So originally,
I think that's a lie.
It was a hot item. So when it first came out, it was super hard to get, and then for a minute, it seemed like they were done with it because I saw the Amazon prices like fluctuating. But then I stayed at Target all the time. So,
yeah, it's at Target.
Yeah.
Because I was at Target because I almost bought it on eBay, and then I was like, let's wait.
Yeah, it's
and
something
we're
saving for.
Yeah, absolutely. We're saving it. We're saving the game for something, but I want the game.
Yeah, it's something I'm excited for you to play because if you enjoy this, you're going to love that.
Well,
this is a great stepping stone.
And it's just that idea of being, all right, well, I made it through my 3rd year at Hogwarts. Let's get to the 4th and stuff like that.
And that's what that
game is. And that's why your wife loves it and whatnot. But so that's Harry Potter Battle Academy.
Yeah, this is the let me give you the full. This is the Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle Defense Against the Dark Arts. One of the longest titles I've heard. But yeah, so I recommend it. I mean, there's nothing. I don't see a negative. There's nothing I would add to this game. There's nothing I would take away. It's a quick game.
Maybe if you want to add something, maybe like the pieces, but the pieces are fine. They're just little symbols of the house.
Everything you need. Yeah, for the price point. Yeah, what is this? Like a $25 game. Like,
yeah,
it's perfect.
Totally worth
yeah.
it. Yep, absolutely.
Everything you need. You get a giant stack of cards. It's not chintzy. It's a giant stack of cards.
It's huge.
Yeah. And it's a good variety of cards. There's a lot of spells in there if you're a Potter fan.
One day I would love to make it through that deck.
Yeah.
But you got to be battling like last one.
Yeah, I would say within 3 turns that we played, we've hit a dent.
Sure.
Maybe we just didn't realize it because there are so many. Like, it's just not.
Like, you got to have the full, like, you'll have 2 deaths, I have 2 deaths, and then we're just each round we're battling back and forth. That's the only way I see that happening.
Which is good.
Yeah.
There's the replayability. We didn't burn through the deck. Like,
they scratched the surface.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
I think that's
Ooze's theme, replayability, good price point. It's a great game.
That's 3 thumbs up from
Gateway Gamers approved. Stamp. All right. Well, that was the Harry Potter game. I have some news for you. Some actually big news.
Oh.
We have new Funkoverse characters.
Really?
Yeah, so randomly, Funko Games put out 2 new Funkoverse announcements. So we kind of talked about, we loved Funkoverse back in the day, and we kind of talked about some characters that we would like to see, and unfortunately these aren't any of our wish lists, but you love Peter Pan.
I do love Peter Pan.
So Peter Pan and Captain Hook were announced for Funkoverse.
Oh, that's cool. Did you pre-order it?
No.
You should.
Because these are not. I haven't actually. The Disney characters are not any that I care about.
You don't like Peter Pan?
I like Peter Pan. He's fine.
I grew up loving Peter Pan.
That movie's controversial, but
why is it controversial?
The Native Americans.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm shocked why they put Peter Pan. I was like, really? I was like, this movie was kind of like.
Well, they didn't do the Native Americans.
I know, but
I guess those 2 characters aren't controversial.
Yeah.
But no. I grew up loving it, and I did rewatch it, and I was like, this is kind of boring. Why did I love this growing up?
Those early ones, early Disney movies are kind of boring. That's why I didn't. But also,
whatever.
That's why I didn't get
tangents here.
That's why I didn't get the Alice one and the
because you saw the chase on it.
Yeah.
So I was like, get it, and I went on and looked on eBay, and the chase is incredibly common. So I was like, yeah, just put it back.
Just some sparkly outfits.
Yeah.
So that but again, I'm excited that they're making new ones because every time they make one, I said this is probably the last one. So that was a cool little 2-pack if you're a fan of Disney.
Literally every time you say that, you're wrong.
I know.
So you know what? But these are 2 games that we like.
I'm glad I'm wrong.
So keep saying.
Yes, I'm glad I'm wrong. So
those Funkoverse, those games got to be cheap to make.
They already have the IP,
and people buy them.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry to keep cutting you off.
No. Please cut me off as much as you want. So I'm happy that 2-pack's coming out. However, the 4-pack that they announced is one that I would have never thought of and is super cool. So they announced Universal Monsters.
What?
Yes. So we have...
That's awesome.
So we have the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Invisible Man, Dracula, and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Did you pre-order that?
No, I don't pre-order any of these games.
This one you should. I want to play this. You got to pre-order it.
They show up eventually. So what's super cool and what's kind of stupid is it's all in black and white, like the original.
That is cool, but also stupid.
So it's cool that the figures are in black and white. Perfectly fine with that.
Is the board in black and white?
The board's in black and white. The gems are in black and white. Everything in the game is black and white.
What are the gems for? I don't remember you.
Yeah, the gems are the power, aren't they?
I'm not sure.
It's been a minute.
I remember they just it's been a little bit. I thought.
All I know is I have a ton of gems. I have a lot of those gems. What are they for? They're for something.
I don't remember. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll go back and listen to our episode.
Yeah, go back and listen to Funkoverse episode.
Yeah, I will, and I'll let you know because that was a good episode that we did. But there's a fun game. I just don't understand black and white. That the game is so colorful.
I understand the characters, the black and white, and I'm fine with that. But it's like the picture that they have on the Instagram, it just is so boring looking. Like the boards are probably the weakest part.
They should have made that a chase. The black and white.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think that would have been cool. Our friend Preston kind of said, he was like, "Oh, where's Frankenstein?" and like Wolfman, and I said that'll probably be a 2-pack. They'll probably announce more, and it'll probably be because they have the Bride of Frankenstein, but no Frankenstein. Like, come on, it's gonna be Frankenstein, and then the Wolfman are gonna be a 2-pack. But I'm excited for that because that's more Funkoverse. Like that's a game
We have to
clearly we haven't played in a while because we forget how the crystals work.
Yeah.
But it's a game that I love. Like
we'll need to bring that back.
I love all those characters. I love the games. I bought more since we played it, and it hasn't hit the table enough. Like
you bought the Marvel one. We haven't played that.
Yeah, we bought the Marvel one, bought Thanos. I bought the Jaws because I love Jaws. And I'm sure there's some other one I bought because I do enjoy that game a lot, and I like the collectability of it. So this, the Peter Pan one I might pass on, but the Universal Monsters, like if they are unique enough power-wise, they'll be in my collection. Like I think it's more exciting IP. Like it's something.
I'll probably get the Universal. I'll probably get one of those. Probably the 2-pack. Mm-hmm. Because I won't really play it that often, or if I'm not.
Well, that's what's good is the 2-pack is still playable.
Yeah,
like that's what's cool about that game. Another fun game that Funko announced randomly, and just one day they were just like, "Oh, we got a bunch of games." Like here's.
I feel like that's the way they do it, though.
Yeah, but it's exciting, but it's also just like, oh, okay. Like, all right. E.T. Light Years from Home.
Wow.
A co-op game from our boys at
Prospero Hall. Our friends are great friends at Prospero Hall.
So Prospero Hall and Funko, we kind of talked about before. They jumped ship to Funko, and they are producing some really cool, like 80s IP. Apparently,
that's the thing.
Yeah, apparently they love the 80s.
Well, you ready to hold on to your pants?
I'm ready.
I've never seen E.T.
That's fine. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
If you know anything from listening to our show, for some reason RP is like just skip the 80s.
I'm a huge movie guy too. Well, I think that's when you grew up, right?
I was born in 87, but yeah, like I kind of grew up on the 80s movies. My brother is older, so it's.
You had an older brother. I know, like a friend of the show, Bob, had his brother. Like they would watch a lot of this stuff. I really had like if my dad wasn't watching it, I wasn't watching it. So like. I've never seen the Terminator. I'm a huge movie guy. I've never seen the Terminators.
Yeah. Well, you just watched Die Hard recently.
I watched Die Hard 2 years ago for the first time. Like things when my dad didn't watch, but like I know my other co-host Shane, his dad and his brothers watched all of that. So it's like really like it was like growing up. You and your brother probably watched all of these movies together. For me, my sister I was watching a lot of what she wanted to watch, like the Mary Kate and Ashley movies and Parent Trap. So I missed out on some of this stuff. That this gives me a good excuse to go and watch it.
Yeah, where it's funny because my wife is the same way. Like for some reason she's a huge movie buff, but like 80s, these classic movies, I'm like, oh, you ever seen this movie? She's like, no, and I'm like, what? Like it's just so.
Has your wife seen Space Jam?
Yeah, probably.
My wife had never seen Space Jam or Sandlot.
Again, let's rehash. Producer Audra's Amish.
Yes.
They probably didn't have electricity in 1995.
They were allowed to watch Indiana Jones, but they were not allowed to watch Rugrats.
Yeah, again, Amish. Yeah. Backwards. Who knows what's happening
there? The only one like that I remember producer Audra telling me is that they weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons, and that was the one where I went, okay, yeah. I get that.
In the early 90s, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So, E.T. game, as I said, Prospero Hall, you collect parts to create a communication device to contact E.T.'s home planet while avoiding capture from the police and the government. It seems like a really just fun game. The art style looks just like the Goonies game. Like, it just looks like straight from the movie. It just seems super fun. So with that, even though you don't have a huge 80s nostalgia kick, I'm sure you have some 90s kick. What would you love to see Prospero Hall like cover? What would be a game from your childhood? Like E.T.'s exciting for me. It's not like huge, but I'm like, oh, an E.T. game or like a Goonies game. What would be something that Prospero Hall would announce that you'd be like, whoa, yeah.
I kind of have an idea.
Okay.
So a huge movie for me as a kid, was me and my sister loved it. Was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Okay.
So Ivan Ooze. If there was like an Ivan Ooze Power Rangers game, I'd probably pop for that. Or Austin Powers.
Okay.
As a kid, I was allowed to watch Austin Powers. I always loved Austin Powers growing up. So probably that. You go, and if I think of anything else, I'll chime in. But
so there is a Power Rangers game from Renegade Games. I think it's a deck builder. But I'm saying, like, you want, like, a straight Ivan Ooze Power Rangers movie game.
Look, if Prospero Hall is throwing their name on it, I want it.
Okay.
That's the way I want it.
All right. So you said, what, Power Rangers movie?
And Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. And then what was the other? Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Yeah, that was my sister.
It Takes Two.
Yeah.
So mine would be Gremlins. You and I have talked about this plenty of times.
Yeah.
I would love Prospero Hall to do Gremlins, and I'm waiting. They're right there. Like, because there's not a Gremlins board game yet. There is a Gremlins card game that Funko put out. There is a Gremlins HeroClix game that WizKids put out, but I'm waiting because was Prospero Hall announced? E.T., Rocketeer, and the Warriors and Jurassic Park. So I'm like waiting. It's right there. Like, I'm waiting for one day Funko to be like, we're making a Gremlins board game. It's going to be a miniatures game, and I'll be
dead
there. So if it's a Kickstarter, $600. I'm in. Like, I would love a Gremlins. Gremlins is like my sick movie. So when I was a kid, it was Price is Right. Orange juice, toast, Gremlins was like my sick day. And even now as an adult, if I'm homesick, I'm probably watching Gremlins. Like, it's such a comfort food for me.
Now that I kind of think about it, and then we mentioned it a little bit, Space Jam was a huge movie for me when I was a kid.
Okay.
So Ivan Ooze or Space Jam, like a thorough Space Jam,
like a deck builder, like
maybe like a deck builder.
Yeah, like you build your
a deck builder would actually make sense.
You build your Looney Tunes team and basketball players.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like what I used to watch, but that was like one of the movies that like we almost broke the tape on that and Rugrats. Were like two movies we almost broke like the
Rugrats would be right up their alley. Like they could create
Rugrats
a really
would be
good
a great game. I would say probably those two. Like Rugrats the movie, Rugrats in Paris. Love that growing up as a kid. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Even like a Price is Right game. Why haven't they made like a good Price is Right game?
That's being homesick. Yeah. Price is Right for sure.
Regis and Kathy Lee. Let's make a Regis and Kathy Lee deck builder. I want
to. So I would say definitely Space Jam or Ivan Ooze, because we ran those tapes into the ground.
It's
like
just so funny. Like how just slightly younger you are than me, but like what a difference.
Huge difference, man. We have the same tastes, but
just
different experiences.
Eras, yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't grow up with watching Gremlins, but I had nobody in my family ever mentioned it. You know what my dad mentions all the time? Goddamn Italian Job and The Day After Tomorrow. That's like those
was
are like
your dad born in like 1999?
No, but like my dad. So we talked about this on previously recorded a lot. My dad has like, if there's a movie on TV and he sees it, he's gonna put it on, and it's always been The Italian Job, The American President, and The Day After Tomorrow. For whatever reason, like those three movies. So like those are the movies I know, but I don't know Gremlins. I don't know The Terminator. I don't know Jingle All the Way. Like things like that. So, but
it's just funny. It is funny. Just
you're a product of your family.
Yeah,
but your family watches.
We do love movies. Like we have the same passion. Like I love movies. We talked about in the last episode going to theaters. Like I saw Jurassic Park theaters. Like I saw all these great movies in theaters. We have the same passion, but it's just like a different touch. Like it's just a slightly different.
Like I wasn't even introduced to Jurassic Park until I was a little bit older from my neighbor. Like me and my neighbor watched it. It's just
amazing. That's why movies are
They're great, dude.
Like you can talk to anybody. Everyone has seen a movie.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a movie for everybody.
Yep.
Like I just watched Ghostbusters for the first time a couple months ago, and I wasn't a big fan.
Ugh.
And it's like you're very much like you grew up with it.
I grew up with it. It is
and
funny.
A lot of people love that movie.
We're all going on a tangent.
We're going on a huge tangent.
But
should probably wrap it up.
Ghostbusters was a movie that I grew up on. It was a movie that I watched. It was a movie that I grew up on. I rewatched recently with my wife, who's never seen it, and I was like, this movie's good. Trust me.
Did she like
it?
And
she was fine with it. Yeah. She was fine because she didn't grow up with it.
That's
there
is
that
fine.
nostalgia
touch
as well, where I'm just like, did you like it? And she was like, I was fine. I was like, what? I was like, the movie's great. And then I rewatch it. I'm like, this movie's just fine.
It's fine.
It is just fine.
It's
like,
fine. But it was
rose-colored glasses.
It was a first of its time, like whatever. But we do have a lot of passion for movies, and maybe we should explore that a little bit further.
Oh, tease.
Yeah. The sizzle reel.
So one last thing to kind of wrap up the episode. A new show I've been watching. Do you know anything about Critical Role?
No.
Okay, so Critical Role was a Twitch and YouTube sensation in about 2015. It's a bunch of voice actors and friends that got together to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yes, we talked about that. Yeah, with Jeff Goldblum.
Nope, that's a totally different Dungeons and Dragons bunch of friends because it's kind of grown in popularity. So the Critical Role is, like I said, a bunch of voice actors that got together to play D&D. They did a campaign. It became super popular. So it kind of put Dungeons and Dragons back on the map, where a lot more people were playing because of this campaign that they did, but they're all like professional comedians and voice actors.
Oh,
so
cool.
They're incredible at what they do. So they want to Kickstarter to make a cartoon based on their campaign and made like $3 million.
So do you get anything
or more,
for
like
it?
11.3 million, something insane, like $1 million Kickstarter. They just wanted to do like a cartoon show. So their show got picked up by Amazon, and I've been watching it.
And what's it called? Critical Role?
It's called Vox Machina. Critical Role Vox Machina or something. Like the Legends of Vox Machina, which was their team on their campaign. And it's on Amazon. It's really good. It's really good. Like it just it follows like their group. They're like half-hour episodes that are perfectly condensed. And the season kind of went where I didn't expect. So I watched the first 3 episodes so far. I believe at this point, by the time this episode's aired, the season might be done. But the first episode kind of was just introducing all these characters. And as we talked about Dungeons & Dragons, which you've never played, but there's like a bard, and the bard is this little gnome that's trying to just bang everybody. Like on the show, he's literally trying to bang every woman he sees. There's a berserker, which is kind of like Drax. Like he's just like the strong berserker, has no idea, like just basic mannerisms. There's like a healer. There's a stealth like person. Like they're all very cool. They all have their like characteristics. So the first episode, you're like, oh, they're fighting a dragon. So I thought like, oh, the whole season's gonna be them fighting a dragon. No, it goes a completely different way. So it's like interesting, and then you kind of
comedy.
I would call it a comedy, absolutely, because it's like very over the top. So it's not a spoiler. Literally, the first like 5 minutes, you introduce these group of characters, and they all get slaughtered. Like a rock falls on one guy turns to dust, and literally the narrator's just like, well, that's not the group we're following, and then it goes to like this group of idiots. Like they're all just it's Critical Role.
Critical Role.
Vox Machina is like what it's called. I think that you would enjoy it as a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, because that's essentially the type of story it is, where it's this group of people and it's like how they get together and become more than what they are, because they're all very individual. They all have their backstories that you learn about, but they come together as like a family, and it's based off of their Dungeons & Dragons campaign, but it's more stylized as a cartoon.
Okay.
So if you're interested in a cartoon, you could go back and listen to their Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which I'm sure is more detailed.
It's got a boasted 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, so if you're a fan, it's very well done.
It's brand new. It just came out in January.
It just came out. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll check that out. That does sound like fun.
Yeah, and
you said it's like the Guardians.
It's Guardians. It's literally Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it's just a group that become family and how they work together, and they all have their backstories that are touched upon in the show. Like it's very interesting. Like one guy, I was like, oh well, he's not that interesting, and then they went into his backstory. I'm like, oh, this is why he's the way he is, and this is his goal.
Right.
And it's it's very interesting. I think it's good for the Dungeons & Dragons community, which has been growing.
Yeah.
As we kind of with
COVID.
Magic Gathering and COVID and Twitch and streaming. So this is just one more thing to check out, and kind of if you're interested in Dungeons & Dragons, like I recommend it.
Good to know. Good recommendation.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to recommend.
Nothing. One thing.
You want me to recommend one thing?
Anything. Give us a taste RP.
Let's see. You know what? I've been reading, and I really, really enjoy it. It's the History of Marvel Studios. It's a giant book.
Mm-hmm.
I got it for a wedding gift, and I've been reading about a half hour, but that's like 3 pages because it's a giant coffee table sized book.
Coffee table book. Yep. I know exactly
so
what you're talking about.
They're really big, but there's a ton of cool information That's my recommendation. In terms of maybe a movie, like a show recommendation, if you can, it's in that area of, it's not on streaming yet, but it's not available to buy yet either. West Side Story. When it comes out, we were talking about
the Steven Spielberg original. Okay.
Yeah, I thought the new one was fantastic. So look out for that to come out. I'm sure it'll come out maybe
HBO Max,
2 weeks
I'm
or
sure,
something.
Yeah.
Disney Plus. It's a Disney movie.
Oh, is it? Oh,
It's
technically
Fox,
it is a
yeah.
Disney movie. You're right.
Yeah, so it'll probably be on Disney Plus at some point. But look for that. That's my recommendation.
All right, there we go. A little taste of RP, a little taste of Bryan.
And then one more Gateway Gamers recommendation. Check out our merch store on Redbubble.
Yeah.
Search for us, buy some stickers, buy a hat, buy a t-shirt, buy socks, buy whatever you want, buy a phone case.
And then check out our Apple iTunes review page.
Yeah,
and
leave
give
us a review
5
as well.
stars and a review.
We'd really appreciate it. I know this was a more tangent-filled episode than we're used to. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check the Instagram out as well.
Yep, bye. Love
Bye.
you. This is the Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle Defense Against the Dark Arts.
I fucking love. Wow.
Wow.
RP,
You love Austin Powers. You really do.